social.
Hey,
and that was me. I was
the number person.
I was pretty timid. But when I got involved in Toastmasters and realized how much I really loved working with people and talking with people and helping people improve, what drew me more to Toastmasters was the leadership opportunities. And within Toastmasters, starting at the club level, there are leadership opportunities going up to the international level. So at the club level, there are club officers, and then you move up through the district level, which is where I'm at right now as district director. And then you can actually go to the international level. So all levels of leadership are volunteer positions up to the international president of Toastmasters. So I thought the opportunities for leadership growth with me is what really kept me in Toastmasters and kept going. And that's why I served so many different roles in leadership, was to gain those skills. And those skills are actually what qualified me to be able to be in the Chamber of Commerce and have the position that I have in the Chamber of Commerce, are from the skills that I gained in leadership through Toastmasters.
Wow. Well, mention again your website for Toastmasters where others can connect with you there and find out more information. And even if our listeners aren't right here in our Central Florida area, but I'm sure if they contact you, you could lead them and help them get to the right person in their area, right?
Yes, the website is toastmastersd84.org. And again, right at the top of the website, you can click on Find a Club, and you can just enter your zip code, and you can search anywhere
neat
that you're looking.
And if they have any specific questions, can they email you, call you?
Oh, sure.
What would you prefer?
Sure. They can call or email, either one. And my email address is nancyh@toastmastersd84.org. And phone number is 321-436-8043.
All right. Awesome. Well, gosh, I really did not know this much about Toastmasters.
I'm pleasantly
speechless.
I am.
Yes.
I mean, and I talk.
It really is intriguing, and it really is something I should look into. And if you're in the audience, hey, look up a local club and just go visit. Right?
Yeah.
Is that?
I'm
absolutely. Interpreting
yes,
that right.
just look up a club and go visit. That's the best way to get involved. And like I said, visit at least 3 clubs, just because you'll find the one that has the members and the format and everything that fits, and you'll feel comfortable.
And that's a good point, because you should do that in all networking activities, because you are going to be networking and building relationships with these individuals.
Yes.
So you really want to make sure that it is a good fit for you and that you're comfortable. And like I said, I have visited a couple different chapters here in the Brevard County area, and they were all very, very inviting and welcoming. But it has been something Richard and I have spoken about for years, especially when I realized that at that time he was doing the speaking and he wanted me to speak. It was like,
now I can't get her quiet.
Okay. Whole other show there.
But who were some well-known figures that people might recognize?
Some of them that come to mind, one is Leonard Nimoy.
Oh.
Tim Allen.
Whoa.
Debbie Fields from Debbie Fields Cookies.
Yeah.
That's all I can think of right now. But there are several. There are several well-known people that have been involved in Toastmasters.
So it is not just for someone that wants to public speak. It's to really enhance those skills.
And that's one of the things people don't realize, the bigger picture of Toastmasters, like, the international level, as well as all of the community benefits it can have with inmates and in our correctional institutions and our prisons and things like that. So that gives these people the opportunity to transition into the community, into a positive environment. So the recidivism rate is going to be a lot less due to that. So.
Well, I'll share kind of the format of a meeting. How long do they usually last? I mean, are they an hour and a half? Is there a fun kind of a format that each of them follows?
Each meeting follows an agenda. So there'll be an agenda at every meeting. And so if there are guests coming, they will know exactly how the meeting is going to flow. And typically the Toastmaster meeting will be an hour to an hour and a half, depending on time. A lot of corporate clubs try to keep it to an hour, so they move very quick. A lot of other clubs, community clubs, sometimes an hour and a half. They do more table topics and have more fun with that. Some of them are dinner clubs where they break for dinner, have dinner, and then come back and finish the meeting. But typically you'd start out a meeting with the speakers, the prepared speeches, and they work through manuals, and so each speech is working on a different skill. It might be vocal variety, it might be using visual aids, it might be body language, things like that. So each speech you're working on a different skill, and so you have your prepared speakers in the beginning, and then you have a section for table topics, which is the impromptu speaking, and people, that's usually the one that scares people, but it's amazing that if you just participate, you get better and better. And the other thing about table topics, too, is it doesn't have to be truthful. You can have a lot of fun with stories.
Flourish it a little bit. And I will say the very first one I visited, they were picking the individuals to do the impromptu, and they were going to pick one of the guests. And I was like, I wanted to just slide underneath the table so bad. And I was like,
that's typically what people feel like.
I did a reverse. Okay, Lord, you know that I don't want to do this. Don't have me do this. And I didn't have to, but a very good friend of mine did, and she knocked it out of the ballpark. I was like blown away with the way she did.
You can have a lot of fun with it if you just realize that you don't always have to be knowledgeable in the subject, or you can segue into something that you do know about from whatever the table topic is. And they can be creative too. Sometimes they'll pick something out of a bag and say, okay, you're the marketer. How would you market this product and things like that? So there's a lot of different ways that table topics can be creative. And then after the table topic session is the evaluation session. And that's where the speakers hear from the evaluators about what they did well, what they can improve on. And so that's where you start getting feedback, and that's where your improvement starts to come from.
So it's not critique, it's feedback. And I love that.
Right.
It really to help you hone in on those skills and improve. Very, very good environment, very positive environment then.
Absolutely. And then after that, it's typically filling the roles for the next meeting and then the adjournment of the meeting. So the meetings are always, they try to keep on time, respect everybody's time that is there so that you know what time you're going to start and what time you're going to leave, and that's, it doesn't break into your day.
Well, I hear from a lot of individuals that they're preparing their Toastmasters speeches. Where do they go take those speeches? What do they do with them? I mean, as far as there's contests or events or something?
There's in their club, they would, they prepare their speeches for their club, but then also each year we have 2 conferences within our district. And those conferences are the setting for the district level contests. So at the club level, you start competing, and in the spring at the May conference is where the international speech contest is held, and you work up from the club level. So if you win at the club, then you move up to the area, you move up and they move to the district. Now the person that wins at the district level is flown by Toastmasters International to wherever the international convention is to compete in the semifinals for the world champion of public speaking. And that person, then if they make the semifinals, then they are on the big stage competing for the world champion of public speaking. And if you win that title, we've heard from so many of them that before they get a chance to get back to their hotel room, they've got 250 invitations to speak somewhere.
Oh my gosh! Okay,
so
Richard.
if you want to be a public speaker, then you want to compete.
All righty, I'm going to have to get this on my bucket list. Get that book finished, and then I'm going to take this on the road here.
The bucket list just got another coin thrown in it.
It's funny. Like I said, I've been through some speaker trainings, certifications, but I still have that pit in my stomach, even before we do a radio show.
Oh.
I really do. I still have that fear. I'm confident in what I want to speak on, but I still have these little, this little stuff, the monkey chatter.
Yes. And a lot of times that never actually goes away, but you know that it's okay to feel like that. And we always call it getting your butterflies in order. So you still have butterflies in your tummy, but they're in order. And so you know that you can deal with them when you're going to be in front of people.
Now, you mentioned over the years, you really took part in a lot of the leadership areas. What type of training were you given on your leadership?
Well, Toastmasters, starting at the club level again, for club officers, they provide training. We hold 2 training sessions within the district to train club officers for those positions. And then when you move up to the area or division level or district level training, we provide training. We hold a training session at the beginning of the year for all of the new leaders that are coming in. And then Toastmasters International provides training twice a year for district leaders. And we all fly to a location, and they provide 2 days of training for us in our positions. So there's a lot of opportunity for education and training.
That's phenomenal. I mean, what I'm hearing is that here's an organization that was, I'm sure the premise of it starting was to help with communication skills. They wanted, and look at some of the, you mentioned a few of the celebrities or the people we know, but I know there's gobs and gobs of more of them out there that have taken that. And I know a number of individuals here in our community that have partaken in Toastmasters or are still active in Toastmasters because as you, go ahead.
Yeah, one of my favorite is Les Brown. Down out of Miami, 92 years old, and you would, he speaks like he's 45. He rips it. He's just great. And I did have an opportunity to go with a mini little speaker boot camp for one day with him, and he's powerful, and his daughter is just as powerful in the organization and putting it together. But it was totally amazing, and
master storyteller.
Really pushed you. I mean, they pass these cards around, and I had to talk on green beans for 90 seconds.
Green beans.
Green beans. They were just going to pick a vegetable.
Right.
Actually, you didn't get to
and
pick.
that's the table topics.
They assigned you a vegetable that you had to talk about, and I go, okay.
Yeah, what can you say about a green bean for 90 seconds, right? But it does. It really helps hone those skills the more you practice it.
It brings to mind, I went on a job interview, a number of years ago, and it was for a sales position. And I remember I thought it was going great. And then they said, okay, well, great. Now I want you to take this pencil, and I want you to actually sell us this pencil. I was like, oh my gosh, I bombed. And I thought to myself, after going to my very first Toastmasters, that would have helped me.
That would have helped, yes.
That would have helped me, because that's what I started seeing and recognizing in the people that are in Toastmasters, how, not only are they articulate when they're speaking on a topic or in front of a crowd, but they know exactly how to take it in the direction that they needed to take it.
And the other
format, so to speak.
The other helpful sessions and everything that occur throughout the year in Toastmasters is at our club officer training sessions. We have workshops. So it's not just for club officers. Anybody can come, but we have people that will teach you how to do a better website. They'll teach you how to do the table topics, how you can work that and really be able to be effective at that. They teach you. So, and at our conferences also, we have about 19 to 20 educational sessions at our conferences on all different types of topics. So a lot of times we'll have those who have competed in the World Champion of Public Speaking come in, and they'll give tips on how to get to that level if that's what your interest is. But there's a lot of educational opportunity just outside of.
Cool. I want to give you a shout out, a friend of yours and mine. I actually saw her this last weekend in Orlando at a conference, but Deb Banks Walker just says,
Deb.
Yay, Nancy Hone. And she said hi to me too.
Hey, Deb, thank you.
I love to give shout outs when people come up on our social page. But we were actually at this event that I was at real quickly. There was one of the speakers, and she led us through a process of, she had a bunch, I think maybe about 8 questions on the screen, and she said, don't write the questions down, but first thing that comes to your mind, you need to write in order the answer to those questions. We then took the answer to those questions and put a speech together, a 3-minute, was it 5 minute? Yeah, 5 minutes. A 5-minute speech together, got in groups of 3. And I was amazed. I did it. I had no clue. It was amazing the way the questions led to what we all spoke about. It. We all spoke about something that was very traumatic in our lives from the way the questions led. That was just like the group that I was in.
Oh.
Each of a fear that we'd have overcome or had been affected our lives. And
right,
I was like, wow. So
That's awesome. Yeah.
That's what I see Toastmasters being able to do for individuals to really bring things together. And
again, like at the workshops, at the conferences, or at the